What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is TheUzigunner, and I'm here back again with some more Draft League Pokemon content because, folks, I am going to be defending my UBL championship for the Season 2 of the, you guessed it already, the Ultimate Battle League. Now, as far as why I decided to come back and not stay in retirement, like, it may more or less relied on the people that would end up competing here for this specific season. And when I heard that some of the people that I've really looked up to would actually end up competing here, as well as some of my very good friends, I decided that, you know what, maybe it's time to not actually hang up my boots and see exactly how far I can go here, really. So yeah, I'm very much excited for the opportunity, and as far as the first week goes, we're going to be going up against none other than aDrive himself, which I've been looking forward to for over 2 straight years. So yeah, I'm very much excited for the opportunity. If you guys are excited as well, be sure to smash that like button. I'm kidding. And yeah, without further ado, let me show you my squad and let me show you his squad. Unfortunately, I could not do a draft recap, guys, because unfortunately I have not been the wisest when it comes down to managing my time. Like, I'm really kind of behind my studies as of now, and I really need to get myself back in track, so I'm really sorry for not being able to do all of that, but that's besides the point. Now, Dan's team here actually has a pretty threatening aura around it, and by aura I mean Aurora Veil, because god damn it, Dan, he just fucking drafted Alolan Ninetales for the 4th consecutive time. But jokes aside, it's still a very solid Pokemon, and yeah, definitely is a thing that I need to play carefully around. And considering the fact that it's paired with Pokemon such as Manaphy and Mega Altaria, which are pretty setup heavy mons, it's definitely gonna be a pretty threatening squad all around. And yeah, hopefully I'm gonna be able to put up a good fight against them. Now, as far as what I got right now, let me show you guys here. Starting off, we got the Gur, aka the Black Sludge Crobat, with Roost, Toxic, Super Fang, and Defog. It's more or less specially defensive with enough speed to make sure I outspeed Alolan Ninetales at pretty much the fastest thing in his squad. Particularly his Gengar, if I recall correctly. And with this investment that you see before you, I'm actually going to be able to take a lot of hits from a lot of his Pokemon and be able to, you know, whittle things down with Toxic and Super Fang, which is a very solid bring, I feel, for this particular matchup. So yeah, I'm very much excited for that. And with the investment that you see before you, Pokemon, say like Alolan Ninetales or Rotom are in against me, I can actually roost up on its face by outspeeding it, and therefore be able to take whatever hits they want to go for on my face before being able to whittle them down with Toxic. So it's definitely a very solid set, I believe. Unfortunately, it had Haze and it had Haze before, but I figured that Defog would be more crucial because I would want to, you know, ensure the fact that hazards don't end up on my side of the field, especially considering the fact that I have a Cure in Black with me. So in that sense, that was definitely more crucial. So yeah. Next up, we got Vodka Soda, aka the Megagron, with Stealth Rock, Heavy Slam, Roar, and Brick Break. No comments on the nickname. Anybody who's Bangladeshi will get the reference and will cringe at my attempts of trying to crack a joke here. But regardless, this is a very solid Pokemon in this matchup because, in case you guys haven't noticed, Dan does not necessarily have the best responses for this thing. I mean, he could, courtesy of, you know, Aurora Veil and so on, but with Stealth Rocks up, he really has a very tough time switching into Mega Aggron. Like, Rotom would have to be his best bet, but again, with Stealth Rocks up on his side of the field, he is not going to be in for a very good time, I guess you could say. So yeah, in that sense, its role is pretty much self-explanatory. Set up rocks, get as much damage as possible, courtesy of Brick Break, and Heavy Slime, which is going to do a lot of damage, and Roar especially to make sure that Pokemon such as Manaphy and so on do not get any opportunity to set up on my face, as well as, you know, making sure that he has a tough time passing wishes, because if there's anything that I do expect going to this match, it would have to be him setting up, you know, him trying to set up wishes with his Jirachi and then passing it on to something like his Rotom Heat for long-term longevity. So in that sense, Roar is definitely a fine bring, I guess you could say. And of course, last but not least, Brick Break, which is there, which I consider to be a very crucial tech in order to make sure that Veil does not end up being a nightmare for me. So yeah. Next up, we got Austin, yes, not the big dog. Sorry about that. The AV Cure in Black with Fusion Ball, Iron Head, Shadow Claw, and Dragon Claw, which is a very huge onset. I'm really sorry, Aki. But the set here is more or less inclined towards making sure that it takes special hits very well, particularly from his Gengar, which is actually a pretty crucial threat to my squad. So just being able to take hits from this thing relatively well and being able to whittle them down effectively in return with my, you know, very powerful attack is something that I'm definitely looking forward to. And yeah, it can get it can basically execute the best of both worlds by taking lots of hits. Like, it even lives +3 Dazzling Gleam after Stealth Rocks from a Manaphy, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, with wish support from this Alamo Ebola, which you see before you, which I'm gonna go into later on, it's definitely gonna be a very crucial member to my squad. So yeah, I'm very much excited for this. But anyways, next up we got Lady Kubu, aka the Choice Specs Whimsicott, rocking the Moonblast Shadow Ball, wow, Energy Ball and Tailwind, which is mainly here to act as one of my main win cons. Now, this Pokemon in general is very crucial in the sense that as far as dance switch-ins go, yes, he has Pokemon such as Rotom Heat as well as Jirachi, but late game, if I'm able to whittle things down to the point of no return, this thing actually goes in hard. And with the speed that it actually is able to afford, I'm definitely going to be able to come out on the better end of most exchanges here and there. So that's definitely something I'm very much looking forward to, I guess you could say. And yeah, Tailwind is there as a filler spot. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to make sure that this thing doesn't take any damage for reasons that I will go into later on in the video. But anyways, that's basically besides the point. This is definitely gonna be one of my late game win cons. But anyways, next up we got Alamo Ebola, the very deservingly nicknamed Alamo Mola, rocking the Rocky Helmet with Wish, Protect, Toxic, and Knockoff. Now, this set in particular is very much crucial because it executes a lot of roles. First things first, it's the literal backbone of my team because it passes wishes and makes sure that this fat piece of shit doesn't end up getting, you know, whittled down very easily to the point where it cannot be as effective as it used to be, and therefore puts me in a very solid position, I guess you could say. And the Rocky Helmet is there mainly to make sure that stuff like Choice Scarf Jirachi, which it could be a probable bring on Dan's behalf if he actually brings Donphan against me, is not going to be able to do what it wants against me, and I can basically go on from there and be an annoying piece of shit, basically. So, yeah, that's all there is to it with this Alamo Mola. Now, last but not least, we got Bebzinki, which is, again, a very pitiful, sarcastic attempt from yours truly, trying to make a funny term out of the term Bazinga, but that's besides the point. It is the Leftovers Raikou with Thunderbolt, HP Ice, Toxic, and Protect. Now, this set in particular is very solid against Dan's team because initially this was actually the what you may call it, the Kroku, yes. It was basically not Kroku. Vinkun, yes, Vinku, which is basically Protect, Substitute, Thunderbolt, and Toxic, which I felt was a very solid bring against Dan's behalf. But in the end, I figured that HPS was definitely the optimal bring here, especially for Pokemon such as Mega Altaria as well as his Donphan. And yeah, this thing can take a lot of hits pretty well, I guess you could say, especially special hits. Like, it actually lives an overheat from a Choice Specs overheat from a Rotom Heat, especially even after Stealth Rocks, which is pretty insane. And it's here to whittle things down with Toxic and go on from there, really. So, yeah, it's a pretty solid Pokemon. And with that, that's going to be all there is to it for this team. Fortunately, I was forced to take a more defensive approach this time around, considering Dan's squad. But hopefully, we'll be able to come out on the better hand of the exchange. Huge shoutouts and thanks go to my boy Zazo, of course, who actually helped me a lot in this build. Like, I made the team all by myself, and he like took a look at it, made some final changes to help me get in the groove, and basically go on from there. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Thank you very much for watching for the team builder, and with that, enough of me rambling on. Let's move on to the match, shall we? Alright guys, we are back right now, and as you can see, this is what my boy Dan brought against me, and from team preview alone, I'm very much surprised to see absolutely no Manaphy whatsoever. Because realistically speaking, this could have arguably been the biggest threat to my squad. So just to not be, just to not have the misfortune of facing it is a very big deal for me. But yeah, like, I'm very much surprised to see Scrafty here because it definitely wasn't something I expected him to bring. Because now this more or less, gives me less leeway towards leniently spamming Shadow Ball to my heart's content. So, Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but regardless, as far as leads go, I figured that Raikou would arguably be the best one because I can immediately snag some Toxics here and there, and I really expect him to lead off with his Rotom Heat, considering the fact that it matches up phenomenally against the vast majority of my squad. So, and also add that with the fact that he could potentially get a slow Volt Switch off against my Raikou and basically get the better hand of the Volt Switching exchange. I figured that Raikou would undoubtedly be the best one here. So, with that being said, that's going to be all there is to it from me regarding team preview. Really sorry for not being able to record this match in Citra, guys, because I usually upload Citra quality Wi-Fi battles. But due to lots of DCs, which spoilers does end up happening here, was really stressful experience. I'm gonna go more into that later on. I'm going to have to make do with using Dan's content. So, huge thanks to Dan for allowing me to use his stuff. But anyways, Dan is going to be challenged by yours truly, as I'm going to lead off with my Bebzinki, aka the Raikou, as he is going to lead off with his Voltergeist, aka the Rotom Heat. Now, turn 1, I got absolutely no reason not to go for a Toxic, so I'm definitely going to go straight for that right now and be able to effectively put this thing on a timer, which is a massive deal for me because, again, Rotom Heat is arguably one of the biggest threats to my squad. So, yeah, he's going to go straight for a Volt Switch, and that's going to do a very decent chunk, which kind of revealed to me that he definitely would happen to be Choice Specs. So, that's definitely a very nice find for me. He's going to get the nice and clutch Intimidate off on yours truly, which kind of shows me that he definitely could be a potentially more supportive set. But anyways, I still don't know what to make do of this Scrafty, so I'm going to go out into the best possible switch, and I think which would have to be my Gur, aka the Crobat. So he's going to go for a nice and clean knockoff, which is not going to be doing much, which kind of showed me that he may not even have much investment in his attack. But regardless, my play is as clear as day. I am definitely going to go for Super Fang because it covers every single possible play he could go for. No chance in hell is going to go into his Gengar, and I'm going to be getting a lot of clutch damage on this Jirachi, which is basically putting me one step closer towards cleaning things up with my Whimsicott, because that's my main plan here. But anyways, I'm gonna go straight out into my Vodka Soda, aka the Mega Aggron. He's gonna set up his rocks, which is something I definitely expected him to do. His alternate play could have been, you know, going for a U-turn, but realistically speaking, he couldn't do much from it because yeah, I would be able to go out into my proper switch and be able to go on from there. But anyways, we're back after the first DC. I mean, it really wasn't the first DC, but anyways, he's gonna set up his rocks, and now he's gonna get even more HP back, courtesy of the leftovers, which is perfectly fine. Yours truly is going to get his nice and clutch Mega Evolution off, and I'm going to go straight for the nice and glorious Stealth Rocks because I absolutely needed this match. Considering the fact that he has Rotom Heat as well as Alolan Ninetales and even a Mega Altaria, which is not Mega Evolved yet, I'm definitely going to benefit a lot from being able to, you know, get the opportunity to set up Stealth Rocks, I guess you could say. So, yeah, he's going to go straight out into his Voltergeist. I'm going to get my rocks up, and this is a very crucial opportunity for me. And also kind of threatening for me because considering the fact that Rotom Heat is in against me, I'm going to have to more or less do a 50-50, and I thought that Raikou was the best play. I did my calcs, and it actually was a roll for Overheat to kill from here. So, yeah, I'm gonna inflict that nice and clean pressure off on him. He's gonna go for an Overheat, and you are going to see that absolutely murder the main reason for this Pokemon existing. So, yeah, like, Raikou was a soft check to Rotom Heat in by default. So, to see him get just one-shotted like that, even though it was a roll, was kind of unfortunate, I guess you could say. But, anyways, that's besides the point. I'm gonna go straight out in my Alamo Ebola, as you are going to see me just go straight for a Wish right now. Again, I had absolutely no reason not to. It was a no drawback play by default, and whatever he could go into later on, I can basically go out into the other Pokemon, take the hit, and be able to get myself back up to a good amount of HP. So, here he is gonna go for a Wish of his own. You know, perfectly fine. I am definitely not gonna make sure that if he's gonna set up a Wish, it's gonna come with an eye, and I'm definitely gonna be able to do just that by getting rid of his leftovers, which is very clutch for me, especially considering the fact that I'm trying to set up an end game which involves Whimsicott potentially cleaning up house. So yeah, he's gonna go straight for a U-turn and inflict even more damage on himself, courtesy of my Rocky helmet, which I found a bit surprising. If I were him, I would have just hard switched out, but it's whatever, as I'm gonna go straight for a knockoff and be able to get rid of this thing's choice specs, which is actually pretty clutch for me. So yeah, definitely a good turn of events, a good series of events, minus his Rotom Heat getting himself back up to a good amount of HP. Now here I'm definitely going to go for a Protect to see what he wants to do. Basically try to get more damage off him courtesy of the Toxic. And now seeing him, you know, seeing me go for Protect, I expect him to expect me to switch out, which is why I'm actually going to stay in and go for a Wish. I did my calcs and I'm going to be able to live the Volt Switch quite comfortably, I guess you could say. And yeah, I'm definitely going to get the prediction right, which is fan-freaking-tastic. And as of now, I expect him to potentially want to go straight out into something else, I guess. Probably, yeah, I didn't really know what he would want to go out into, realistically speaking. But yeah, my play was to just go for a Wish regardless. And that is exactly what I'm going to do right now. So here, Dan actually makes a phenomenal play by expecting me to switch out into either my Crobat or my Mega Aggron, with the latter being the most likely play, and doubling out into his Rotom Heat because... yeah, that is exactly what I'm gonna end up doing, and that more or less was a misplay on my behalf, I guess you could say, because realistically speaking, Crobat would have arguably been the better one, but I was kind of worried about him being a potential Dragon Dance variant, but yeah, as of now, I'm unfortunately forced to go straight out into my Crobat here, and I'm definitely not gonna live the Overheat unless I somehow happen to miraculously dodge the hit, which is something that's definitely not gonna happen, so yeah. Crobat is unfortunately going to bite the dust, but with that obviously comes a victory in the sense that his Rotom Heat is getting really whittled down. And he only has 2 more Stealth Rock switch-ins left, which is actually very clutch for me. So now I'm going to go straight in my Austin, aka my Kyurem Black. And honestly, I've kind of make a massive misplay here in the sense that I should have just gone for a stab move to begin with. But instead, what I choose to do is actually just go for a Shadow Club, thinking that I would whittle down Alolan Ninetales enough before being able to knock it out the next turn with Iron Head, which looking back was not the proper play considering the fact that Iron Head would have probably killed anyways, especially after Stealth Rocks, and as well as the fact that Jirachi was whittled down to the point of no return. So Dragon Claw would have definitely done a lot more damage to him. But it's fine, whatever happened, happened. I'm going to go straight into my Alamo Ebola, as he's going to actually... make an over prediction and expect me to go straight out into my Whimsicott, which is definitely something I'm not gonna do because again, Whimsicott is my late game win con, so I'm definitely not gonna not gonna risk its health. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a Wish right now, again making sure Alomomola does whatever Alomomola wants. And here I'm going to actually switch out straight out into my Mega Aggron because I figured what he wanted to do was to set up a Wish and sack off his Jirachi in the process, which ensures the fact that he is able to go straight out into his Rotom Heat the very next turn and stay in and go for an attacking move on me, which would therefore allow him much more longevity and get himself back up to a good amount of HP. Which is why I actually ended up making the play, and that is exactly what he does end up doing, as he is going to go straight for the U-turn, you know, perfectly fine. He's going to go straight out into his Volter, guys, which is something I'm definitely not going to allow to happen. I guess the better play was to go for, would have been going straight for a Heavy Slam. But I figured that, you know what, like, Roar was probably the better play. Looking back, I'm definitely not, I definitely think that was not the right play, I guess, because now that just gives him another sack in Rotom Heat. But regardless, he is going to switch out. I'm going to still stay in on his Gengar and go straight for a Heavy Slam because I figured that he would not want to stay in on me. And I kind of wanted to gain more info on that Gengar because if he was sub-Hex or something like that, that would have been actually quite detrimental to me. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to knock out the Jirachi, which is a very huge victory for me. As now what's going to happen would have to be me just staying in and going straight for another Heavy Slam because considering the fact that my Crobat is no longer around, I definitely cannot afford to, you know, let this Mega Altaria do what it wants. So yeah, I'm unfortunately forced to let my Mega Aggron take a lot of damage from the Fire Blast, which he thankfully is going to be able to connect. As, yeah, I'm just gonna go for a Heavy Slam and I'm gonna be able to get my second kill with my Mega Aggron. So, mid-game Mega Aggron is already putting in the finest of work, you know, not bad at all. And now, what I am going to do would have to be just actually going straight out into my Alomomola. Like, it was more or less a coin flip. I figured that, you know what, it would have to be either me going out into my Whimsicott or me going out into my Alomomola. But I figured that the latter would most likely be the better play as, yeah, he's gonna go for Focus Blast. And now I'm obviously gonna go for protect, trying to stall out a move. And now I'm about to make a play which may come off as very questionable, but I actually have a very solid base behind it, which I'm actually going to explain later, explain after I'm done with this match. So yeah, until then, bear with me, guys. But I'm actually gonna stay in and go straight for a wish, expecting, like, more or less sacking off my Alamo Mola at this point, because even though it was a very huge asset to my squad, I was kind of forced to do such a thing, and at the same time I was kind of, you know, trying to scare Dan into getting out of here with fear of missing Focus Blast, and thankfully that's gonna actually work out for me, as I'm gonna go straight out in my vodka soda, and be able to get all that nice and clean HP back, courtesy of Alamo Ebola's wish, as that is exactly what's gonna happen, and this is going to be fan-freaking-tastic, because again, Mega Aggron is a very huge threat to Dan's side, and just being able to get this thing back up to a good amount of HP after the potential misplay from my end is definitely going to be very crucial for me, as now he's definitely going to stack off his Volter, guys, and this is where I kind of regret not actually attacking this thing instead of roaring it out when I had the chance, because otherwise he would have been forced to go out into another potential Pokemon, and I could have potentially been able to get the Veil out of my face. So yeah, that was kind of unfortunate. At this point in time, I'm definitely gonna hard swap out straight out into my Alamo Mola, figuring that, you know what, it did what it needed to do, and now it is time to say sayonara, as his Gengar is going to definitely make the most of the opportunity, go straight for a Shadow Ball instead of going for a Focus Blast and knock me out, which I guess was a fair enough play considering the fact that he had absolutely nothing to lose, because courtesy of a Veil, he'll actually be able to take a lot of hits from my, he'll be able to take a Heavy Slam or two from my Mega Aggron. So yeah, I'm gonna... Okay, so after a very untimely DC, which really made both Dan and I upset, after doing lots of recreation, we are able to get back in track. And yeah, I'm gonna go for a Dragon Claw, which is exactly what I clicked up until the DC. So yeah, here I'm still gonna just continue to go for a Dragon Claw, because I'm definitely not going to switch my Whimsicott in. And speaking of which, Dan's gonna make the over prediction again by choosing to stay in and going for Poison Jab. But again, I have my own reasons, and yeah. Thanks to Veil and of course the -1, he is going to be able to 1v1 my Kyurem Black, which is kind of unfortunate. If I probably was a generic ICMZ set, this thing would have probably been dead by now. I mean, before it got the chance of setting up Veil and whatnot. But anyways, now I'm pretty much forced to go straight out into my Lady Kuvu at this point. And I'm definitely gonna go straight for Wound Blast, because I know for a fact that the chances of him going to Gengar are pretty much just close to none at this point. So yeah, his Alolan Ninetales is going to be taking the nice and clean Stealth Rock damage, which is absolutely phenomenal, as I'm going to go straight for the Moonblast, no reason not to, and you're going to see that damage be not enough, sadly, to be a 2-shot on this thing. So yeah, I'm definitely going to switch out at this point. I'm going to go straight into my Mega Aggron. It more or less covers every single play possible, and yeah, what Dan's going to do would have to be just going straight for a Blizzard. He had no reason not to anyways, and I'm definitely not going to risk my Whimsicott at this point, because again, it's my win con at this point. So at this point in the juncture, I'm definitely going to go straight for Brick Break, because there is no chance in hell I'm going to allow this piece of shit of an Alolan Ninetales to get the Veil off on me. So yeah, with this Break, I'm definitely gonna be able to break that Alolan Ninetales, and just like that, I no longer have to bear with this nightmare. So yes, now what's gonna happen would have to be him going straight out into his Hoodlum, aka the Scrafty, and at this point in the time, I'm more or less forced to just go straight for a Heavy Slam. Again, I have a very specific reason for why I'm going to make sure that Whimsicott takes absolutely no damage whatsoever from the Scrafty of his, which I will go into later on. But anyways, I'm gonna go straight for a Heavy Slam, and you are actually gonna see that do a very good chunk of damage, and especially with the Hail, I'm going to be able to get rid of this thing, which is a very crucial turn for me, because now this also ensures the fact that Hail only has 1 turn left, meaning that it will go away after this specific turn. So yes, at this point, I'm definitely going to stay in and allow my Mega Aggron to die to this Gengar, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know what, it's fine. Mega Aggron got 5 kills, it's fan-freaking-tastic. But anyways, now after the stealth rock damage, it actually all comes down to a roll, to whether I'm actually going to be able to live the Shadow Ball and potentially win. So will we pull through? Will the BPC actually be able to pull through? Yes, we are. We are actually going to be able to live at a very sliver amount of health. Lady Kubu is gonna go straight for a Shadow Ball, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a 1-0 victory for the BPC. Too sweet. Woo! Oh my god, guys, that was literally probably one of the closest matches I've ever had. Probably the closest match, if I'm being perfectly honest, because god damn, man, this match really was down the wire. And at this point, since this match is over, first things first, I just want to say very good game to my boy Dan. This was more or less minus the very annoying DCs that actually ended up happening, which really made both him and I upset. This really was a down to the wire game, and honestly, I'm kind of upset though, because like before this match, I literally went out of my way to double check on so many things, whether it be my internet, and even like checking if I gen my mons correctly, just in case, you know, things don't actually end up messing up. And it's really weird because like even on my, you know, laptop and on my other mediums, the internet was working just fine. But to think that, you know, all these DCs ended up happening was really demoralizing. So I'm really sorry, Dan. And second of all, regarding the Alamomola play, as far as why I stayed in on that Gengar goes, I have a very specific reason for that, which I think should explain itself in the very last turn, which would have to be me, you know, living the Shadow Ball from that Choice Scarf Gengar of his, which I knew, especially after seeing him adamantly go straight for all these Focus Blasts. Because the thing is, if I had potentially allowed my Whimsicott to take that Focus Blast damage, Dan would have potentially been in a very good position to clean up endgame with his Gengar by just spamming Shadow Ball at this point. So in that sense, I knew for a fact that I could not allow my Whimsicott to take both Stealth Rocks and into Focus Blast damage, which would have been really detrimental for me. So in that sense, like what I could have alternatively done, I guess you could say, would have to be just going hard out straight into my, let's see, what you may call it, like on the turn where he goes out into his Gengar on my Mega Aggron, after getting that Fire Blast damage off on me, I could have gone out into my Whimsicott there, which would have then ensured the fact that my Alamomola wouldn't have taken that Focus Blast damage, and I would be able to potentially, you know, heal this thing up back to a good amount of HP, which would therefore enable its longevity and therefore be able to heal up some of my other Pokemon in Pure and Black, Mega Aggron, you name it, and therefore potentially put me in a situation where I would be able to, you know, win with them basically. Which, looking back, I guess was the more optimal play, but considering the fact that it was too late when I decided to hard swap out straight out into my Alamomola on that Gengar of his, I pretty much forced myself into a situation where I could not allow myself to switch in my Whimsicott on this thing, because again, this would have just more or less sealed the deal when it comes down to Dan just spamming Shadow Ball at this point and then just cleaning up late game, which I could not afford. So yeah, in that sense, I hope this does clear up a lot of things, guys. Again, very good game to my boy Dan. I'm very much happy that this match actually ended up happening, because god damn it, man, it's something that I wanted for over 2 years, and to see it actually become a reality is something that I can definitely find, you know, a lot of happiness in, really. So yeah, I'm really sorry you aDrive fans and also Dan for making you upset this game. It really wasn't my intention, but I'm very much happy that I got the chance to face you, and I hope I get to do this again down the line. So yeah, the Bullet Punch Club is officially 1-0 in the UBL in what was a banger of an opening show, and I hope that I can potentially end up doing the same thing for the upcoming matches. So with that being said, guys, that's going to be all there is to it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video in any way, feel free to smash that like button. Sorry again, I need to stop with that very horrible meme. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on this match, and as well as subscribe if you are new. It really helps out my channel and gives me more motivation to try to put out content which I actually put effort in. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all in week 2, where I'm going to be going up against none other than Nidor himself. So I'm very much excited for that. Thanks again, and with that, I bid you all adieu. Peace!